All right, welcome everyone. This is day 19 of our 30-day meditation challenge. So welcome, I'm really happy that you're here. Today's meditation was a suggestion from one of our viewers and one of the people who is participating in this 30-day challenge, and it's all about forgiveness. So I've been very much looking forward to doing this meditation, and we're going to look at it from both sides of forgiving others and forgiving ourselves. So I think forgiveness is probably a very touchy subject for a lot of people, and one that is really misunderstood as well. So when it comes to forgiving others for things that they've done to us in the past or wrongdoings, we tend to think that if we forgive someone for doing something bad to us, we're saying that that behavior or their action was okay. And the truth is, forgiveness has absolutely nothing to do with the other person. So no matter the amount of people that hurt you or wronged you, you never, ever, ever forgive someone for their sake. You forgive others because you realize that by holding on to past hurt and past resentment in the present moment over something that happened in the past, you're only poisoning yourself. You are only hurting yourself. You are only robbing yourself of the love and joy and peace of mind that you can be experiencing on a daily basis. You don't get revenge on someone by not forgiving them. It honestly doesn't work that way. And most of the time, whoever wronged you doesn't really care whether you've forgiven them or not. And even if they did, at the end of the day, forgiveness really, really is something that you do for yourself. It has to be something that you choose. It is a conscious act of choice. It's not just something that happens. So people will say time heals. Yes, time for sure does heal, but to forgive someone, you have to consciously make that decision that from now on, you're choosing to no longer carry over that past hurt. You are not going to carry over that resentment into your day-to-day life. It's like unloading a backpack. You're taking it off of your shoulders, setting it down, and moving forward with your life. It does not mean that what they've done is okay, or that you tolerate the behavior, or that you're going to let it happen again. You can still have your boundaries set in place, and you can still definitely think and know that what they've done is awful and bad and wrong, while still keeping in mind that we are all imperfect human beings. And at the end of the day, you need to take care of yourself. And the best way to do that is to do it with a little bit of inner peace and a positive mindset and a little bit of self-love. And you'll never be able to do that if your mind space is constantly being dragged down by focusing on bad things that have happened to you in the past and focusing on the resentment and anger and injustice that you feel over the people who have wronged you. So it's a touchy subject because you have to be ready to forgive. You know, if somebody wrongs you right away today, you're probably not going to just forgive them right away and move on to move on your cycle and be okay with it. So just be conscious of that. If you feel really triggered by this and you feel like, just as I'm saying these words, you feel like your back is up against the wall and you feel defensive and thoughts are coming up like, well, what they did is really wrong and I'm not ready to forgive. That's okay too. It's totally fine. This meditation might not fix everything for you, and that's okay. That's okay. Just start to open yourself up to the possibility that somewhere along this life journey, at some point, maybe you will be ready to forgive others for the wrongdoings that they have done to you, knowing that it has nothing to do with them, and this is an act of kindness and self-love that you are showing yourself. Which brings me on to my next point. So the flip side of this forgiveness is we don't always need to forgive others. A lot of the times we have to forgive ourselves. Like I said, we are all imperfect or perfectly imperfect human beings, and we've all done bad stuff. We've all judged or criticized others. We've all been a little mean, or who knows, right? We've all made mistakes in our lives, depending on what kind of life you've had. And sometimes it can be a lot easier to forgive others for the wrongs that they have done to us. But when we're the ones who are actually the ones who have, hurt other people, or made mistakes or have some regrets, it can be a lot harder to forgive ourselves. And the same way as when you forgive others, you're not necessarily saying that the behavior or action that they took is okay. You wouldn't be doing that with yourself either. So if I were to forgive myself for something that I view as a mistake or something that was wrong, I'm not going back and saying, well, you know what, actually what I did was fine, no big deal. Absolutely not. You're just the same way as when you forgive others, you just come to a realization that holding on to this anger, this resentment, this shame you feel over all the bad stuff that you've done to others isn't changing the past. You've already done those negative actions. Whatever it is that you think you've done to others or whatever it is that you regret or feel shame of, no matter how much you tear yourself down and hold on to that resentment, you will never, ever, ever be able to change the past. So why are you choosing to carry that into your present and carry it into your future? You know, do you have a little bit of that martyr energy going on? You have to be extremely honest with yourself and just ask yourself, why? Why am I holding on to this harsh criticism? Is there a little bit of room for yourself to forgive yourself, knowing that we are all imperfect, we all have our flaws, every single person in this world is going to make a mistake. You're going to make plenty more, I'm sure. Or, I mean, maybe you won't, but I know I for sure will make plenty of other mistakes and wrongdoings. But at some point, you do have to be able to forgive yourself and realize that you are worthy of forgiveness. That's a huge part of it. So if you're the person right now who's being triggered by this message, so you feel like you don't deserve to be forgiven, you don't deserve forgiveness, what you did is too bad for it, or you're not worthy of that kind of thing, just notice when those feelings come up. And just like before, you don't have to forgive yourself right away. So as we're going to say these affirmations, when you're saying them in your mind or repeating them to yourself, you might be in complete denial, and as you're saying this, you don't believe it, and that's completely fine. Just open yourself up to the possibility that at some point in your life, maybe you will be ready to forgive yourself, knowing that we are all imperfect and we are all just doing the best that we possibly can with what we have in the present moment. We are all learning a little bit more every single day, becoming better people, and just acknowledging that this forgiveness is not saying that the behavior you did or the actions you took were right, but you are acknowledging them and you are ready to step into being a more aware, conscious, kind, compassionate person. You will not be able to feel peace and joy and love and happiness if in the back of your mind you're constantly going back to the past and constantly focusing either on the wrongs that other people have done to you or on the wrongs that you have done to others. At some point, you really need to step into this present moment and step into this day and say, enough. Time to move forward, time to stay in the now. It's not going to make anything better to stew over it and stay in either resentment and anger if you're having a hard time forgiving others, or staying in shame and guilt and sadness. You're in both of those situations, you're only hurting yourself, no one else. Well, actually, maybe other people, if other people are now having to take care of you because you're unable to take care of yourself. So just keep that in mind, a really open mind for tonight's meditation. And of course, if it feels a little triggering and a little, strange, just know there's no end goal with this meditation. Don't expect that you can forgive every single person and every single little event in your life that's ever happened just because you've meditated for a couple minutes. It's a journey, it's a process. We're just kind of taking that first step today and opening ourselves up to the possibility that maybe in a little while this could happen. And who knows, maybe you'll have a major breakthrough and you'll feel a lot better and you'll be able to close the door on that kind of event that's happened in your life and be able to step forward. That would be great, but if it doesn't happen, really don't worry about it. We all have these internal struggles. I've been wronged and I have wronged others, and it's hard. it's hard. It's hard, and so know that you're not alone. Literally every single other human being on this planet is going through the exact same thing. So we are all going to do the best we can. The difference is that you and I and the people on this meditation, we are actively going to start taking steps to forgive others and forgive ourselves, which is a wonderful, beautiful thing. So first part of the meditation, I want us to focus on forgiving others for past misdoings. The affirmation that I'm going to ask that you repeat, now this is the one that I'm going to work with. Tweak it as much as you want. If there's another one that comes to mind that works better for you, go ahead and use it. What I'm going to work with today is forgiving others brings me peace and joy. Okay, so forgiving others brings me peace and joy. Try not to obsess about the specific events and specific wrongdoings. Just tune into the feeling of forgiving others brings me peace and joy. And then once we're about halfway through, we'll turn into forgiving ourselves, and we'll have a different affirmation for that one. So let me just set this up here. Sorry, just want to make sure I can view you guys. Let me know also if you can't see or hear me properly. I have the chat open, so I'll be able to see how you guys are doing. But let's just make sure we can sit up nice and tall. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, gentle tuck of the chin so the back of the neck is nice and long. Palms can rest on the tops of the knees. And really feel the lift in your lower back, and the sit bones are grounded. Get a solid, firm, steady base so that you're a little bit more prepared if some emotions do start to stir up. And as you're here, let's close the eyes. And just start to connect to the breath as you inhale and exhale through the nose. And try to bring a little bit more awareness to the space around the heart. So front of the chest or middle of the upper back. Imagine that the breath can swirl directly around your heart, in and out through the nose. Letting go of whatever your mind is thinking about right now and focusing on your affirmation. So for me, that's forgiving others brings me peace and joy. Moving into silence. Staying with the breath. Still focusing on the center of the heart. See if you can repeat the affirmation on the inhale. And on the exhale, just let it sink in without tensing up any other areas of your body. So starting to bring the focus inward, we're going to switch to a portion of the meditation where we focus on forgiving ourselves. So the affirmation that we're going to work with for this one, or at least the one I will use, is I am worthy of forgiveness and I set myself free. So I am worthy of forgiveness and I set myself free.
As we start to close this meditation, let's bring our palms at the center of the heart, the chin to the chest. And I want you to focus on one thing you want to forgive. So this can be someone else, an event, or yourself. And this doesn't mean that you forgive it right away. Just notice if there's something that you need to prioritize. So what is calling your attention? What or who really needs forgiveness? Feeling yourself open up to the possibility of forgiveness. Maybe it doesn't happen today, but being willing to let it happen and unfold in the near future. And let's close with one breath. Inhale through the nose and release. Opening the eyes. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Let me just close this here. So I would love to know what that brought up to you. I think this could be a really excellent discussion because I think we are all going to have different but also similar experiences or similar things that were triggered. And I'd love to know if you found it easier or harder to focus on the forgiveness of others versus the forgiveness of yourself. For me, definitely forgiveness of myself I thought was a lot more challenging, or I had a lot more resistance to it. So it definitely tells me that I need to focus on that a little bit more and put more energy into that. But I think just shedding light on it is the first step and the most crucial or most important one. And then everything else kind of tends to fall naturally. But definitely doing these meditations a few times, if you notice that this was hard for you or you felt a lot of resistance towards it. I've done this in the past, and a common one that will come up for people is, when they have to forgive other people, it's like their experience is the exception, it really, really can. We all have the potential to forgive others and to forgive ourselves. You just have to open yourself up to that possibility to it, no matter how severe or traumatizing the event. You have it within you, because just remember, you're not forgiving for the other person, you're forgiving for yourself. It's a gift you give to yourself. It's some peace of mind and joy and happiness that you now get to bring into your daily life and into your future. So that is where I will leave you tonight. Tomorrow's meditation will be at around
a little later, probably 8:30 or 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't set the exact time just because I have a dinner with some friends later tomorrow night, so I'm not 100% sure when I will be back, and that's pretty much the only time I'll be able to do the meditation. So tomorrow will be day 20. Today's meditation was a suggestion from one of our viewers, so we still have some days left. If you guys want me to do meditations on specific subjects, you have 11 days or so left. So definitely leave a comment, send me a message, and I'd be happy to do that for you. And that's it. That's where I'll leave it. Thank you so much for following. Oh, and if you've been enjoying this challenge, make sure you check out my Yin and Yang yoga challenge. You might like that one as well. It's only 2 weeks long, and it's just one yoga class every single day for 14 days. I'll post the link on YouTube somewhere up here, probably around here, I think. Not sure yet. I'll have to edit it first. But for those of you who are watching live, I'll make sure to leave a comment on the video, and it'll have a link to it in the description box as well if you wanted to check it out. But it's an awesome program, so definitely take a peek at it if you can. Thank you so much, guys. Have a fantastic evening, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow.